Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the round review. This time we're going to be reviewing round 10. Now, for those who don't know, round 10 was awfully exciting. It was characterized by upsets, statement victories, some of the highest scoring games we've seen in many years, and some of the big stories so far this year. We'll start off with the Gold Coast Geelong game. I did highlight this in my predictions that this is a chance for Dimmer. And Dimmer will know that this is a statement game that they can make. And boy, oh boy, did they make a statement. Gold Coast find themselves in the 8 after a commanding victory, 164 to 100. Great victory. Their attack, this game was so attacking. This, I think, equaled, this is one of the highest scoring games we've had in decades. 264 accumulated points. Goals is that 41 goals kicked is just insane, and it was such a fantastic game to watch purely because there was a goal fucking every minute pretty much. It was stupidly crazy. Gold Coast, they were dominant after the halfway through the second quarter. They put their foot down, and Geelong just looked lost, and they have looked lost for a couple of weeks. So it's a little bit scary for Geelong, who find themselves pretty damn out of form, even though they've had some still, like Holmes and Myers and Stewart, they're still contributing, but with the out of obviously Cameron, that's a big one. Gold Coast, Matt Rao was amazing. Noah Anderson was amazing. Touk Miller was amazing. They had Humphrey kicked 5 goals. The coaches kicked 5 goals. King kicked 4 goals. They were dominant. Damien Hardwick is cooking as they are in their top 8. As for Geelong, they've lost 3 on the trot, I believe now, and they find themselves slipping down to 3rd place, 1% over Port Adelaide in 4th place. So effectively equal 3rd, equal 4th. Next game we have got, if this wants to fucking load, what the hell? Next game we have got the Sydney Swans, who pretty easily defeated the Carlton Football Club. I thought this was going to be one of the better games because I thought, Carlton, if they don't win this, they're out of the 8, and they can't have that happen. But, as I tipped, Sydney did well, and they were pretty commanding. Carlton got away to a good start, and then Sydney said, no way you're winning this. And Sydney are now top of the ladder. The one game they've lost is quite hilariously against Richmond. How is the one game they've lost against the Richmond fucking Tigers? Something's not right about that. But, Sydney was so good. They were so good. Their midfield is just scary. Heaney is just, oh my God, he's a magnificent player. And to think they have to fit, Parker and Mills into that midfield, I don't know how they're going to do it. Heaney kicked 3 goals, Warner kicked 3 goals, Rowbottom and Goulden are amazing. They're just such a good team right now. And for Carlton, their defensive woes are shocking. 17 goals conceded, 15 points, 32 scoring shots conceded is not good enough. And that's why they find themselves in 10th place, quite comfortably out the 8, with 102 percentage as well, which is really concerning. And the next game was probably game of the round with a really controversial but actually correct decision with the Rankin running too far in the final seconds of the game. Yes, he only ran like 13 steps, but he ran over 15 metres or whatever it was. He ran a lot of meterage. So the call was actually correct, but this is a fantastic game. Last year, Collingwood and Adelaide played 2 super close games. Collingwood got up for both of those. Once again, a really close and riveting game where Collingwood get up again. Nick Dacos, full stop. He had 41 fucking touches, and my oh my, is he the best player in the competition right now. There's no doubt about it. I don't want to hear Jeremy Cameron shouts. Nick Dacos for the last 3 weeks has been phenomenal. Pendlebury is getting back to his form as well. Collingwood are looking like the best team in the comp if Sydney didn't exist. They're 5th on the ladder, and considering they lost their first 3 games, how they're 5th on the ladder is so exciting for them. Not for me as a Richmond fan. I'm not happy about that. And look, unfortunately for Adelaide, they're still only 3.5 wins from 10 games. They're going to have to dig deep. I still think there's a chance they make finals, but they need points on the board, and it's been 10 rounds and they don't have those points on the board. So you'd think, despite, having players like Rankin and Dawson finding great form, unfortunately it's not their season. Next up was a really exciting game. I'm pretty impressed with the Dogs here. An upset victory. They won by 27 points. Also, I don't even know if I mentioned, Collingwood won by 4 points against Adelaide. The Dogs won by 27 points, 70-43, keeping the Giants, a high-scoring team, to 43 points is impressive. They kicked 8 goals, 22, the Western Bulldogs. So super inaccurate. They could have won by a lot more points. 30 scoring shots to 13. The scoreline doesn't show it, but they were the much superior team. And usually they have great players, but I don't think they had many outstanding players. I mean, Treloar got 35 touches, but I was more impressed because I thought they didn't have, they didn't rely on anyone. It was really a team performance. And Bevo's proven certain people wrong. Richards was really good. I thought Harms is coming good as well. And as for the greater Western Sydney Giants, things are not looking great. They slipped down to 6th place after people were tipping them. They were probably the best team throughout the start of the season, apart from Geelong. And the Doggies are now just one win outside the top 8, and they have the percentage, 126 percentage. That percentage is the second best in the competition. So maybe Luke Beveridge really is cooking something. I still think they're not consistent enough to make finals, but I might be proven wrong. And I hope I'm not proven wrong, to be honest. I don't want them to make the finals. Next up is a pretty boring game. Fremantle dominated St Kilda. The scoreline, once again, is not what it looks like. 9 goals, 18 to Fremantle. They were really inaccurate. They were much better than St Kilda, who kicked 8 goals, 7, 55 to 72. 17-point victors, the Fremantle Football Club. And St Kilda have slipped all the way down to what should have been 4th last. But we'll talk about Hawthorn's choke a bit later. They're lucky they choked because they're still in 5th last, 14th place, 3 wins from 10 games. And this was a winnable game, and they'd let it slip. And they did not perform well. They didn't perform well. And you know what? There's not much to analyse apart from the fact that Ross Lyon, unless you're making funds with Ross, it's not worth it. Because the game style is so boring. They've scored less points this season than West Coast. They are boring to watch. They're such a defensive team. And it works with their defensive and you're winning games and getting points on the board. But they are equal on points with West Coast. West Coast are far more... I would rather be a West Coast fan right now than a St Kilda fan, in the sense that West Coast are exciting. They kick goals. Waterman, Harley Reid. St Kilda don't excite me. When I watch them, I think, fuck. And Fremantle, by the way, aren't exciting as well. But at least Fremantle, despite being super defensive, are in 9th place. They're equal on points with the GWS Giants in 6th place. They just don't have the percentage. They are 0.9% out of the 8 because Gold Coast have just a little bit better percentage. So poor from St Kilda, and I would be deeply devastated if I was a fan of theirs. The next match we're going to move on pretty swiftly. It's the Brisbane Lions defeating Richmond by 119 points, 163 to 44. Complete domination. Why do I want to move swiftly on? Well, A, because I'm heartbroken and butthurt, but B, because every single Richmond game I analyse it in a separate video, so feel free to watch that video where I analyse how bad we got dicked down by the Brisbane Lions. We move on to the Marshmallow Incident game where we've got the Essendon Football Club who it was close against North Melbourne. They won by 40 points in the end, 160-66, but throughout the start of the game, it was close. Until that 3rd quarter, they kicked away, and the 4th quarter, they just held that 40-point scoreline. But I thought North Melbourne were actually pretty impressive in this game, I'm not going to lie. But Essendon get it done again. They're in 2nd place right now, which is fucked. Peter Wright's back in form with 4 goals. Guelphy keeps kicking goals. Don't know how he does it. Merritt, Martin, the Normals. They did have an injury, I believe, to Darcy Parish, who's done a calf or something for a couple of weeks. But they are in 2nd place. They are on 30 points, just ahead of Geelong on 28 points. And before I was saying it's not as impressive because their percentage isn't good, but they're now sitting at 103.3%. They still have the worst percentage in the top 8. But the reality is they have the points. And that's what they'll be enjoying. And for Essendon, who play Richmond next week, by the way, which should be a win for them, they are an exciting prospect. I still think they're more likely... maybe they just scrape in, but they're definitely not going to make top 4. But great performance from Essendon. Brad Scott is, I think, the best coach, has been the best coach this season. Brad Scott is phenomenal. When they hired him, I said, this is going to change the fortunes of that club, because Brad Scott's that good. And for North Melbourne, they're still winless in 18th. And this is the big match, the best match by a country mile actually. Port Adelaide, well actually, by the way, this round is Sir Doug Nicholls' round, so it's actually Yartapulti taking on Hawthorn. They won by 1 point. I'm going to call them Port Adelaide, it's a bit easier. 80-79. Hawthorn were up by 11 points with 30 seconds to go. Even the commentators, at least on KO, were saying, yeah, it's game over. It's game over. They can relax now. No, it's not game over. No, it is not. Because Willie Rioli and Darcy Byrne-Jones put the foot down and put the dick in, and they say, suck a dick. Absolutely suck a dick. One of the greatest comebacks we've seen in recent history. So disappointing for Hawthorn, who was so good throughout the match. And unfortunately for Hawthorn, they are still in 15th place. They really do deserve to be in 13th right now. But game's a game, they couldn't get the job done, and they only have themselves to blame for. Conversely, for Port Adelaide, yes, it was a great win, but they did have some injuries. Ollie Wines with a heart problem, which is pretty concerning. Nothing's been updated as of yet. By the time I release this, there might be something new on that. But Port Adelaide find themselves in top 4, equal with Geelong, 1% off Geelong, so pretty much equal third. Been a good season for them. These little narrow victories are what win you flags and what gets you top 4, and that's what they're doing. Finally, we're going to go to the Harley Reid show. West Coast Eagles beat Nam, or Walicht Marawa. West Coast beat Melbourne by 35 points, 105-70, and Harley Reid was cooking. Holy fucking shit. My guy is so good. He fended off Oliver, he fended off Petrarca, and he kicked 2 goals. Waterman kicked 5 goals. Darling's back into form. The injury problems are gone. And Melbourne looked stinky. They looked stinky. Fair fucking play to the West Coast Eagles, because they are now in 16th. They are equal on wins with St Kilda. They've scored more points than St Kilda. They're exciting. They're young. The prospect is there. I think Adam Simpson is proving that he's still got the minerals to be a coach. And for Melbourne, that loss puts them back in the 24-point pack. Giants, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Freo, and Carlton all on 24 points. You would think only 3 of those make the top 8, especially considering Brisbane are coming. Who knows what the Dogs can do? Big problem now for Melbourne, because I think they've been a much better team than 7th place, but they're in 7th after 10 rounds. And they've got some hard games to come. Now that is the round review, and it was a great round. I got 5 tips right. All those upsets I got wrong. I didn't go for any upsets this round, and I've learnt my lesson. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, follow TikTok, FTFooty, and I'll be seeing you in another video.